Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here with us on YouTube. Hope you guys are all well. As you know, we had a really good Congress and we're moving forward. And as you know, after the Congress as well, we're having some really good topics. And one of those topics is faith above reason. Okay, something we're all going to have to attain sooner or later. So let's hope it'll be sooner. We'll carry on with some selected excerpts and we'll nail this topic with the others as well. So faith above reason. Item number 1. Okay, so these are from the morning lessons. We're just going to do the first one. We're just going to, go over the stuff we already did with the Rav. And if you're in your, if you're watching the lessons as well, you're probably familiar. But obviously, there's no harm in going over them, as they really, as we go over them, it really helps to kind of instill the whole concept of faith above reason. So let's get smashing already and see how we end up. If you have any questions, as usual, you can shoot them through and we'll try to help as best we can. Excerpt number 1 from Rabash. Before one is fit to attain the truth, he must believe that the truth is not as he knows or feels, but that is as it is written. They have eyes and they will not see. They have ears and they will not hear. This is only because of the correction. In order for man to achieve his wholeness, for he feels only himself and not another reality. Hence, if one returns his heart to trying to walk in faith above the intellect, by this he qualifies it and establishes it so as to achieve the revelation of the face, as is presented in the Zohar that the Shekhinah, the divinity that is, said to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there is no place to hide from you, meaning that in all the concealments that he felt, he believed that here was the light of the Creator. This qualified him until he achieved the revelation of the face of his light. This is the meaning of the measure of the faith that pulls one out of every lowliness and concealment, if a person strengthens himself in this and asks the Creator to reveal himself. All right, so this is one of Rabash's, from one of Rabash's articles. So we have to understand that the reality that we're living in right now is not the real truth. Well, actually, we also feel that in life, don't we? We often feel like life's going by like a dream. All of a sudden you wake up, I don't know, you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Next thing you know, you're retired and you're thinking, how the hell that happened? All right, because it goes by pretty quick. And life is like a dream. So in order for us to discover the truth, this is actually how we live it as well. And sometimes you wake up from a dream and by the time you kind of digest it throughout the day, it really feels like you lived it, doesn't it? But then you realize that it was a dream. And that's how our reality is, simply because we don't really discern what is real and what isn't in terms of the real reality. So our role as creation, as creatures, is to get to the purpose of life, which is actually to discover the truth. And the truth can only be discovered if we understand our connection with the Creator, our purpose in reality, and why we were created. Without that, we will never be able to move forward in life. So the most important thing for us is to go above our intellect, meaning to go above our desire to receive. Okay, that's what it's basically talking about when he says going above reason, above the intellect. So that the way I look at life is not limited and constrained to what I perceive and how I see things currently. Going actually above reason, you could also describe it to yourself as, leaping, a leap forward to another level. As children also, as we grow up, we don't stay in the same confinement of how we were living before. As we grow up, the scope, the perspective, and the whole spectrum of what we're going through really changes. And the same kind of thing here in spirituality as well. So this change needs to occur for us to grow up and come to feel and perceive and taste the real reality. And as Rashbi here writes, there's nowhere to hide. Okay, I think we can all feel that from life as well, right? You can't run anywhere, you can't hide, you can't run. It gets you. You know, life will always get you. So all of us have to go through this process, no running away from it. And if we do this consciously together, all of us together, if we study together, we'll make something fun out of it rather than something drastic, dramatic, and unpleasant. Okay. What is above reason in the work? This is again from Rabash. The work faith above reason means we must believe, although the mind does not see, that this is so, and it has several proofs that it is not as he wants to believe. This is called faith above reason, meaning he says that he believes as though he sees it within reason. This is called faith above reason in the work. All right, this may sound a little confusing. Okay, but in order for me to snap out of myself, I have to look at things from a different perspective. And that different perspective is to try to see things as if I'm above reason. Okay, obviously, if I am not currently above reason, I'm not. There's no lying about it, denying about it. And we don't lie to ourselves. We're not tricking ourselves. However, though, if I want to build myself a next level, what I want to do is actually on top of this level, I want to feel like I want to push myself to this point as if I'm living in the next level. And this is quite important. And this is also how we can realize our dreams in this world as well. Because if I have a dream, I have to describe it to myself. I have to picture it to myself. And then I can make that dream come closer to me. So to go above reason, I have to, through this study, build for myself a new approach, I have to kind of build it for myself, sketch it for myself, put it out there for myself. And then if I work towards what I'm building, then I'm actually, getting myself closer to it. I'm kind of attracting it to myself. This is how we build dreams. This is how we build our future as well. If I constantly describe to myself what I want to be, how I want to be, and then I try to be that person, then I'm actually beginning to play this game. Okay, it's like little children wanting to be a fireman, all right, or a pilot or whatever. What do? They describe to themselves what it's like. So they're actually trying to play that game, and that playing is what attracts them forward. Same with us. In other words, it is a lot of work for a person to take upon himself. It is against reason. Okay, this is a bit different, obviously, in terms of playing the game that kids do. Why? Because we have no idea what spirituality is. Okay, so all we have is the writings of the Kabbalists and what the Rav is teaching us. And from all that, we've got to bring this whole thing together, try to do our best, and try to kind of depict, imagine to ourselves what it would be like to be above reason in bestowal. This means that the body does not agree to this, yet he accepts it nonetheless as though it were within reason. Okay, so our natural nature will never want to do this because it's against our nature, right? Who wants to love and bestow? We want to be loved. We want to be bestowed upon. And that's great. And we're all waiting for that to happen. But life is the other way around. Okay. So in order for us to build that, we're going to have to push ourselves to it. So although it is against our nature, we want to study, we want to work and do it. Why? Because all of us have a point in the heart. And that point in the heart is essential if you want to advance in spirituality, because that's really a sensation or a feeling of our connectedness with the Creator. That there is something, we have this feeling that there is something above this level of existence. It's So this means that the body does not agree to this, yet he accepts it nonetheless as though it were within reason. Such faith requires help from the Creator. All right, and that help from the Creator is only going to come if we ask for it. And if we don't ask for it, it's like a baby, right? If you don't cry, you're not going to get your milk. So as soon as you start crying and asking and demanding, Mummy immediately pays attention and starts taking care of you. So Mum knows what the baby wants. The Creator knows what we want, but do we know what we want? That's the question, because if we don't know what we want, we're not going to get a reply, are we? So that's how it works. So we have to ask for the right thing from the Creator in order to get a reply. So our whole work in spirituality is trying to depict to ourselves what this truth is, what the real reality is from the writings of the Kabbalists. And if we, as much as we can, play around with it, it's like these children who are always playing around, and they're making a lot of mistakes while they're playing around. However, though, this allows them to, gain the intellect, gain the understanding, the experience, the feeling of what they're doing, and they move forward. So with us as well in spirituality, despite the fact that we don't know what spirituality is, what the soul is, if we play around with it, we begin to start getting ourselves into it. And even though we may not know what we're asking for, or we may not even know how to ask correctly, we're actually building ourselves towards that direction. So for this reason, for such faith, a person needs to pray that he will give him the power to be similar to him as though he had attained it within reason. So as we study, as we work within the group, within the lessons and everything that we do, all the actions that we do, we require help from the Creator. Why? Because how can I love and bestow if we are completely self-reception? If our nature is egoistic, how can it be that I will even want to bestow? It's just not going to happen. Okay. However, though, the study, the effort, the work, everything that we do allows us to understand that this is out of my reach. This is beyond my capacity. And this understanding is very important because it allows the person then to turn to the Creator correctly about what he or she wants and why he or she feels that they need some extra strength to do this act of bestowal. So the effort, despite the fact that we may not have the ability to change ourselves, well, we don't have the ability to change ourselves, but we begin to realize that we don't. And this allows us to build a connection with the Creator by turning to the Creator correctly. In other words, a person should not pray to the Creator to help him understand everything within reason. Instead, he should pray to the Creator to give him the strength to assume faith above reason as though it were within reason. So what we'd like from the Creator is to help us to go one step higher above our current reason and to be in that as if it was within our reason. All right? Because if I want to understand everything in my current reason, then I'm then pulling the upper state down, which I don't want to do. I want to pull myself up. So if I want to understand things in my current intellect, I won't get anywhere. This is how it is in life as well. If you want to learn something new, you're going to have to put the gear up a little bit, okay? Because you can't stay in your current state and learn something new. It's not going to work out for you. You have to take one step forward in order to be in that state. Okay, or to interact with that state. So same with us. What we'd like the Creator to do is to help us go up one step rather than try to bring a higher state into a lower state. All right. If we do that, then you'll be dragging something into corporeality rather than raising yourself into spirituality. And that's how religions work as well. If you bring spiritual matters below to what you think they are, then you'll turn it into some kind of a physical phenomena. Why? Because you reduced spirituality to corporeality. All right. And this is how religions work, because they've taken a higher state. And because they are not at that state, they're at a lower state, they brought it to their level of understanding. And now what do you have? Well, you've got a big mess, haven't you? So what you have to do is to go one step up, and all the time going up and up and up and up, elevating yourself. That's the way to go up in spirituality. All right. Any questions? No? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's move forward with excerpt number 3. This is also from Rabash. He must believe above reason and imagine that he has already been rewarded with faith in the Creator that is felt in his organs. And he sees and feels that the Creator leads the entire world as the good who does good. Okay, let's read this again. This is important because this is about the game that we're playing in order to grow up. He must believe above reason. So I have to believe above the current state I'm in, and imagine that he has already been rewarded with faith in the Creator. So I have to feel like I'm already in bestowal, despite the fact that I'm not. I'm not lying to myself. I understand I'm not in bestowal, but I'm imagining to myself as if I am in bestowal. Okay. So what is he saying? Imagine that he has already been rewarded with faith in the Creator that is felt in his organs. So it's as if I'm living the situation, as if. And he sees and feels that the Creator leads the entire world as the good who does good. Although when he looks within reason, he sees the opposite. He should still work above reason, and it should appear to him as though he can already feel in his organs that so it really is, that the Creator leads the world as the good who does good. All right, so despite the fact that I see the world being bad and evil, I want to elevate myself and live as if I'm in a higher elevated state where the Creator is doing just good. Here he acquires the importance of the goal. And from here, he derives life, meaning joy at being near to the Creator. Then a person can say that the Creator is good and does good, and feel that he has the strength to tell the Creator, "You have chosen us from among all nations. You have loved us and wanted us," since he has a reason to thank the Creator. And to the extent that he feels the importance of spirituality, so he establishes the praise of the Creator. All right, also very important to understand that spirituality is important for us, or to raise its importance. Okay, and this has to be an ongoing work. It can't be just that I've raised the importance of the Creator or spirituality once and that's it. It's not going to happen that way. If I want to constantly elevate myself, spirituality has to be constantly more important for me. So I can be above reason. I can't be above reason if spirituality is not important. All right. Otherwise, there are either two things that are important, either spirituality or corporeality. So I'm going to make a decision here. So if I want to make sure that spirituality is more important, then I can be above corporeality. Then that will make me a step closer, bring me a step closer to above reason. Okay, because then I can be above, on top of my desire to receive. Okay. Right, I can move forward then. And okay, where is, just bear with me. Right, no questions yet. Item number 4. This is again from Rabash. As you see, Rabash has got some really nice articles, specifically through faith above reason, meaning even if he feels darkness on his path, And even though he understands that if Malchut had illuminated openly and not in concealment, and the body would feel the greatness of the Creator, it would be easier for him to move forward and be rewarded with always being in a state of work, and he would have no dissents. He nonetheless chooses to go above reason. All right, so in a nutshell, no matter what my state is, it doesn't matter. I have to always try to go above reason. If I start to think about my condition as good, bad, it tastes good, or I feel good, I feel bad, then obviously this is going to be kind of like, putting a spanner in your work, right? So we always have to, despite what we're feeling, what we feel is irrelevant. How we're looking at what we feel is relevant. Okay, whether it's dark, light, doesn't really matter. Always trying to go above reason and to be rewarded with the next state always, like kids who never stop. When a person can go with his eyes shut above reason and believe in the sages and go all the way, this is called ibur, when he has no mouth. Ibur means, as it's written, the level of Malchut, which is the most restricted katnut, is called ibur. It comes from the words evra, anger, and dinin, judgments. As it is written, and the Lord was impregnated in me for your sake. We should interpret the meaning of anger and judgments. When a person must go with his eyes shut above reason, the body resists this work. Hence the fact that a person always has to overcome, this is called anger, wrath, and trouble. Since it's hard work to always overcome and annul before the upper one, for the upper one to do with him what the upper one wants. And this is called ibur, which is the most restricted katnut possible. Right, so this is obviously an important part of our role, right? In the game, what we have to do is come to such a state that we are completely restricted, right? The desire to receive is under absolute restriction. And because this is really tough on the desire to receive, the state of ibur is known as anger and judgments. All right, so one's not feeling very good about that situation, okay, because all our desires are under restriction. So, okay, not a very happy state. However, though, a necessary one. Number 6. An overcoming in the work is called walking in the work of the Creator, since each penny joins into a great amount. That is, all the times we overcome accumulate to a certain measure required to become a kli for the reception of the abundance. Overcoming means taking a part of the vessel of reception and adding it to the vessels of bestowal. It is like the masach, the screen, which we must put on the aviut. It follows that if one has no wheel to receive, one has nothing on which to place a masach. For this reason, when the evil inclination brings us foreign thoughts, this is the time to take these thoughts and raise them above reason. This is something one can do with everything one's soul desires. He should not say that now he has received rejection from the work. Rather, he should say that he was given thoughts and desires from above so as to have room to admit them into holiness. Okay, so upon our path, we're always going to have desires that are going to be a bit coarse, right? Because we're egoists, right? So day by day, new egoistic desires are going to pop up. And as they surface, we'll need to overcome them with going above reason, meaning that I don't want to use it. I want to be above that desire, even though I can't use it right now in order to bestow. But what I can do is go above it and not use it. okay? Especially if it's something that is, not a necessity, all right? So things that are like harmful to others, we always want to restrict them, put them aside, not to touch them. So these thoughts and desires, they come to a person, and sometimes they make a person feel rather bad. However, though, we shouldn't feel bad about them simply because we created bad anyway. Okay, so if we're already created bad, why feel bad about a bad thought? Okay, if that makes sense. So we don't need to feel bad about our thoughts and our desires, but what we need to do is to recognize that they are bad. And if I recognize that they are bad, then I'll have a desire not to use them. And that's the whole trick, really. Recognizing the state we're in, understanding it's bad. And if I understand it's bad, then I can turn to the Creator. So the real problem for any of us, actually, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, in studying, is when we see these things, we often feel bad about ourselves. This is not the idea. That's not the objective. When we see bad things that are inside of us, the important thing is to turn to the Creator so that He can correct them. So the sin, the problem, the drama that we have is not turning to the Creator. Okay, because we're not responsible for what we are or who we are. Okay, we didn't create ourselves, the system, the Creator, nature, call it whatever you like. If the Creator created us, there's nothing to complain about us. The whole complaint is that we are not turning to the Creator as we come to the recognition of evil. Okay. Rabash number 7. So let's move forward. Rabash number 7. Excerpt number 7. The meaning of sins becoming as merits. That's an article number 5. This is similar to a flame that is tied to the wick. The foreign thought is considered the wick, which wants to install a flaw in his work. That is, the foreign thought makes him think that from the perspective of the mind and reason, he has nothing to do in his work. And when he gets the foreign thought, he says that he does not want to make any excuses, but everything that the reason says is correct, except he's walking on the path of faith, which is above reason. It follows that the flame of faith is tied to the wick of foreign thought. Thus, only now can he observe the mitzvah of faith properly. It follows that the questions have become to him as merits, since otherwise he would not be able to accept any merits of faith. This is called rejoicing in suffering. Although he suffers from the foreign thoughts that afflict him and cause him to slander and gossip and speak badly about his work, he is nonetheless happy about it, for only now, at such a time, he can observe in a manner of faith above reason. And this is called the joy of mitzvah. Right, so this is another important thing. Okay, so we're getting bad thoughts about the Creator, right? So every time you feel like your life is not how you want it to be, what are you doing? You're really talking bad about the Creator, aren't you? You're saying, oh, what kind of a destiny did you give me? What kind of a creator are you? Right? So we're always complaining about the Creator, about every small little thing. And that's how it should be. This is what the article is saying. Because if you don't get these thoughts against the Creator, you can't build faith in the Creator. So one cannot be without the other. This is why we've got the wick of the candle and we got the fire on top of it. So faith, the light, needs to be on top of those thoughts that are against the Creator. So our whole work is always actually, on the one hand, we're complaining, suffering, because we're getting these negative impacts, effects of life, and also against the path, against the Creator, against everything. We can never justify the Creator. We're always against Him. Seemingly, we're always against Him. And on top of that, though, we have to understand that now I've got the opportunity to build this connection. So instead of crying out and cursing, okay, to my, I don't know, destiny, okay, or what the Creator is doing to me, instead of shouting and screaming and complaining and cursing, what I can do now, use the situation in order to connect one level higher with the Creator. And that is why it's called a joyful state. Okay, I must admit, very hard to maintain that joyful state when you're going through a lot of traumas. Okay, however, though, that's the mentality behind it. So you're happy because you've got the chance and the opportunity to connect. Okay, despite the fact that you're going through a bad state. This is why it doesn't matter what you feel. It matters how you're using what you feel. Now, this is the whole idea. And that's why a lot of people find it very difficult in the wisdom of Kabbalah, because we're trying to correct ourselves, we're trying to be good and better, but we're always encountering more difficult situations, and sometimes even quite bad situations. So on top of that, we have to justify the Creator, or use the situation at least to try to justify the Creator. And that can be a bit of a tough work at times, but there are opportunities there all the time. Excerpt number 8. He should tell the nations of the world within him, know that everything you say is true. Reasonably speaking, you're correct, and I have nothing to reply to you. However, we were given the work above reason, that we must believe above reason that you are incorrect. And since the work on faith must be above reason, I thank you very much for your correct arguments that you have brought me, since it cannot be said that a person goes above reason unless he has reason and intellect. Then it can be said that he is going above the intellect. But then there is no reason. It cannot be said that he is going above reason. But when there is no reason, okay? But when there is no reason, it cannot be said that he's going above reason. That is, above reason means that this path is more important than the path within reason. However, when there is no other way to tell him, walk in this path, it cannot be said that he chooses the path of faith above reason. For this reason precisely, through the power of faith above reason, is it possible to defeat the views of the nations of the world within man. Right, so the nations of the world within man, they are our corporeal desires and our corporeal logic, right? Our corporeal logic is always telling us what? Come on, we have a great world out there. Let's go and have some fun. Okay, having fun is not a problem. Having fun on the expense of others, egoistically, that is a problem. So our body, our desire to receive, is always against us doing things for the benefit of other people. We prefer to when other people work for our benefit, and that's egoism. So as we study spirituality, in order to bestow to others, to do good to others without any self-expectation, then our intellect goes nuts, okay, because it is completely against our nature. So in order for us to bring this opposite state, bring ourselves from this opposite state, what we have to do is go above. And we say, listen, I understand corporeality is for self-reception. However, though, spirituality is to go beyond it. This is why studying is very important, because as I go through a state, I bring understanding to what I'm going through. So the more I study, I understand what my body is against. And then I can say, okay, I want to attain this. My body is against that, so I have to do this. Right? This is why they're writing all of these things for us in many articles, so that we can go over them and constantly carve it in ourselves, because our will to receive at every level will disagree with what we're doing. If our will to receive agrees with the work, it is for sure we are either in the beginning of the path, okay? We're new, so the will to receive agrees and has no idea what it's getting into at the moment. Okay? So it feels good. Yeah, we're like, yeah, we're learning new stuff. Great. Okay, but once you get into the study and then you begin to understand that the whole idea of attaining something in the wisdom of Kabbalah is by completely nullifying your desire to receive. And even beyond that, doing everything for the benefit of others, then your desire to receive will raise a mutiny. And so we'll have to deal with it. Okay, so this is how we have to talk to ourselves. This is an inner dialogue that Rabash is writing us here about. So we should actually always be in an inner dialogue, always thinking about where I am, where I want to be, what's stopping me, what I have to do to overcome what's stopping me. I have to be in this inner scrutiny all the time in order to move forward. Excerpt number 9. There is emptiness only in a place where there is no existence. As in, the earth hangs on nothing. You find that what is the measure of the filling of the empty place? The answer is according to one's elevation of one's above reason. This means that the emptiness should be filled with exaltedness, meaning with above reason, and to ask of the Creator to give him that strength. This will mean that all the emptiness was created, meaning it comes to a person to feel this way, that he is empty only in order to fill it with the Romemut of the Creator. Romemut of the Creator, the exaltedness of the Creator. In other words, one is to take everything above reason. Okay. Item number 10. God has made it that he will be feared. God has made it that he will be feared. This means that these thoughts of emptiness come to a person in order for one to have a need to take upon himself faith above reason. And for this, we need the help of the Creator. It follows that at that time, one must ask the Creator to give him the power to believe above reason. It turns out that it is precisely then that one needs the Creator to help him, since the exterior mind lets him understand the opposite. Hence, at that time when one has no other choice but to ask the Creator to help him. It is said about this, one's desire overcomes him every day, and were it not for the Creator, he would not overcome it. Okay. So what we have to do, through the work, we should always come to a need, right? The need that the Creator needs to help us. And how's that going to happen? Well, that's going to happen if I put some work into it. So if a person is constantly working, then that person should always be witnessing a state where the conditions are such that he or she cannot overcome those conditions. So every day he or she feels like he or she needs the help of the Creator. And that actually need for the Creator is the need for the Creator is what's attracting us to that higher state. Because we feel that we need some help from above, and that's building the bridge between the created being and the Creator. Without that demand to the Creator, that bridge is not going to happen. We won't be able to build that. So it's very important for us to do the work, and within the work, from within the work, understand our state is opposite to the Creator. And for us to make that little bit of change, we're always going to need the Creator's help. Okay, and that is the important thing. Always asking for help. Excerpt 11. The exaltedness of the Creator means that one should ask the Creator for the strength to go above reason. This means that there are two interpretations to the Romemut of the Creator. One, to not be filled with knowledge, which is intellect, with which one can answer one's questions. Rather, he wants the Creator to answer his questions. It's called Romemut because all the wisdom comes from above and not from man, meaning that man can answer his own questions. Anything that one can answer is regarded as answering everything with the external mind. This means that the will to receive understands that it is worthwhile to observe the study, the Torah, and the commandments. However, if the above reason compels one to work, it's called against the opinion of the will to receive. 2, the greatness of the Creator means that one becomes needy of the Creator to grant his wishes. Therefore, one should go above reason. Then one sees that he is empty and becomes needy of the Creator. And the second, only the Creator can give him the strength to be able to go above reason. In other words, what the Creator gives is called the Romemut of the Creator. Okay. All right, so we don't want to fill anything with our corporeal intellect. Otherwise, this will be, like I said a minute ago, it'll be bringing spirituality down. What we want to do is raise ourselves up so we can be filled with the next level's intellect. And that's going above my current reason. And then the next level, when I'm in there, it will become within reason. Why? Because once I attained the upper reason, that state will be now my within reason. So in order to go to the next step, I have to do the same for the one level above as well. So it's going to be like a ladder going up and up and up and up. And that one upper state is always going to be the above reason of what I am currently. And then once that becomes within reason, I must now go and move to the next level. In order to do that, I'm always going to need the help of the Creator, just like a child needs the help of his or her mum. Okay, any questions? None, I guess. Oh, there is a question from Asla. I can see how moon bestows and how fruit tree bestows, but I can't seem to understand how will man bestow. Why not? You got kids? No, you don't. Well, hopefully you'll have one in the future and a nice little family, and you'll see that you can bestow if you love them. If you don't, how can you want to bestow? To bestow, you first need to love, because the attribute of loving is, well, the act of loving, let's say, okay, the act of the attribute of love is to bestow. Okay, so this is what we need to attain first. First of all, we have to go above reason, meaning that I have to stop thinking about myself. If I want to stop thinking about myself, I have to make thinking of others, I have to make spirituality more important than corporeality, right? If I'm receiving for myself, that's corporeality. If I want to do something good for others, that's spirituality. If I increase the importance of spirituality and reduce the importance of reception for myself, I'm going above reason. Okay, slowly, slowly. Let's say that's the initial steps. And then we can talk about bestowing afterwards. Bestowing is like at the end of the road. Okay. Lisa is asking, reason and faith come from the Creator. So this means I get to a point of total surrender and I do not pay attention to my thoughts and opinions. So should I stay silent until I feel the Creator? Reason and faith, let me read that again by Lisa. Reason and faith come from the Creator. So this means I get to a point of total surrender and I do not pay attention to my thoughts and opinions. No, you don't want to be in that state where you don't pay attention to your thoughts and opinions. Quite to the contrary, you want to analyze them. You want to evaluate what you're going through. This is actually important, right? Because what are we doing? At the end of the day, we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, and the wisdom of Kabbalah is teaching us that for us to build spirituality, or for us to be a spiritual entity, we have to be like the Creator. So as I study the texts and the books, and I learn what spirituality is seemingly like, despite the fact that I'm not in it at all, and I don't have the mind to depict it either, I'm actually moving forward and seeing that I'm distant from this attribute of giving, right? So they're talking about giving and loving others and giving to others and so forth. So I'm working and working on top of that. And I'm seeing that, well, you know what? I don't really like this idea. You know, this just doesn't resonate. Okay. It just doesn't resonate. So then I've got a drama, because on the one hand, we've got a dot in the heart, and through all the acts and actions and the studying and whatever we've done in the group, I go through all these things and I come to a breaking point where, through all the effort I've done and all the feelings and thoughts I've gone through, I just discovered that I'm just nowhere near this thing. So there's a lot of inner evaluation and, you know, looking at the state that I'm going through. I need to evaluate myself from the side. It's important in the wisdom of Kabbalah to look at myself from the side, right? So I'm going through stuff, and like seemingly there's somebody looking at me and evaluating me from the side. I have to do this. This is why it's very important to evaluate yourself. So you should pay attention to the states that you're going through, because as we study the material, then you should be able to match what you're going through to something in the text. And the same text should also give a solution to what you should do. Okay, otherwise you'll just blindly believe in what they told us, and that won't, you know, get us far. So should I stay silent until I feel the Creator? I wouldn't stay silent at all. Okay, you should constantly be crying at the Creator, telling him, where are you? Where are you? Come on, let's go, 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 go. All right, never stay quiet, because if you stay quiet, you'll never get that milk. Okay, it's like babies. If you cry, you get your milk. If you don't, everybody thinks everything's okay. So we must never let the Creator feel relaxed. Okay, don't let him breathe. Okay, make him run around for us. And that's how we should always be, like little babies running around, constantly asking the Creator, listen, you got to give us this attribute of bestowal, you got to make this happen. Give him a big headache. All right, don't give him a satisfaction of sitting and relaxing. Okay, let's do number 12. Let's do number 12. This is a bit of a long one, and then we'll call it a night. All right. And you guys are very quiet, so there aren't much questions. So let's go. Number 12. This is from Baal Islam Shamati, article number 16. It is written, woe unto you who desires the day of the Lord. Why do you need the day of the Lord? It is darkness and not light. The thing is that those who await the day of the Lord, it means that they are waiting to be imparted faith above reason. That faith will be so strong as if they see with their eyes with certainty that it is so, that the Creator watches over the world in a manner of good and doing good. In other words, they do not want to see how the Creator leads the world as the good who does good, since seeing is contradictory to faith. In other words, faith is precisely where it is against reason. And when one does what is against one's reason, this is called faith above reason. This means that they believe that the guidance of the Creator over the creatures is in a manner of good and doing good. While they do not see it with absolute certainty, they do not say to the Creator, we want to see the quality of good and doing good as seeing within reason. Rather, they want it to remain in them as faith above reason. But they ask of the Creator to give them such strength that this faith will be so strong as if they see it within reason, that there will be no difference between faith and knowledge in the mind. This is what those who want to adhere to the Creator, refer to as the day of the Lord. So the day of the Lord basically means, it doesn't mean we have to be stupid and not know anything, right? It means first we have to know what it means to bestow. We first have to exist above our will to receive. If we are not above our will to receive and we want to discover the Creator, then that's called asking within reason. So the whole idea here is first to elevate ourselves above our desire to receive, and then we can come to see the Creator. Why? Because then we won't abuse the Creator's goodwill. All right. If I'm remaining in my desire to receive for myself and I want to see and discover the Creator, that's going to be egoistic, isn't it? And that is what we should not come to see. So the whole idea is first attain faith above reason. And then, hey, you can see whatever you like. Right? Because you've got the vessels now to discover everything as long as they're in bestowal. If in reception, then the light of the Creator for you is like darkness. This is also why we don't feel much pleasure in this world, right? What pleasures do we have in this world? What do we have? Nothing, right? You touch something and it goes anyway, even if you get what you want. You know, the desire and the pleasure, they cancel each other out. You're back to square one. You won't get no pleasure here. Nothing. Why? Because our nature is working on absorbing, and the desire and the pleasure, they cancel each other out. You can never be happy on an ongoing basis. So the only way to be happy on an ongoing basis is, instead of absorbing everything within, then try to work try to work towards the outside. And that's called love, right? Because if I love somebody and if they love me, right, because it's going to be mutual, this is why we're working in a group. So if the people who are working together love each other, then they won't feel tired. They won't feel like they're being used or abused, okay? Because everybody's in mutual love. So everybody feels comfortable, everybody feels happy, and everybody feels like they want to give to the other person. And that actually allows us to forget about ourselves. So in order for us to forget about self-thought or consideration or egoism or whatever we want, in order for us to stop thinking about I want, what we need is an environment that shows us that they care about us. And then we'll want to care about them. And this mutual care will allow us to go above reason. That will be really easier to do as well. That's why if you study with a bunch of friends, it's much more pleasant and easier. Why? Because you've got demonstrations in front of you all the time. And if you're on your own, who are you going to bestow to? How can you get out of yourself if you don't have somebody to work towards? Okay, this is why working together with a group, with friends in the 10 is very important. I have to apply what I've learned in the group. And by unlearning what I've learned, by applying it, doing it, then I can move forward. Then I can see where I'm making mistakes as well. I can see where I need to change. I can see where I need to turn to the Creator. Everything, all my impressions, my understandings, the feelings, everything that I'm going through, which will allow me to turn to the Creator to overcome my deficiencies and inefficiencies, depend on this work of mutual participation in the group. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It can't happen. Think about it logically. How can I feel anything towards anyone if there's nobody around? Okay. Otherwise, we'll be like those people who can now legally marry themselves. Okay. Apparently, there's a law for that. Now you can marry yourself. I don't know how they're going to do that. It's like crazy, but you know, it's a crazy world. Okay. So we're going to love you and leave you and call it a night. There are no questions, right? There are no other questions. Okay. Lisa says, thank you. Crying to the creator, meaning that I've got egoism. I feel like I'm an egoist and I want to overcome it. I want to go above that and I can't do it and I need help from you. If I'll only cry towards the creator, or they sometimes call it a prayer, right? If I want to pray to the creator, what am I going to pray for? I'm going to pray to the creator so that he can give me the strength to overcome my egoism. Help me to overcome my egoism. Correct me so I can be above my egoism. Right? That's the prayer. That's what we should be crying about. Okay. So the work should bring me to see what's stopping me from caring about others. So the more I study and work, I should see what's stopping me to love others. What are the obstacles in me that don't make me go forward in love and bestow? All right, I can't take the next steps. I'm just like, our nature doesn't want to go in that direction. So the more I study, I need to see that happen. When I see that happen, then I can have a need for the creator. I can say to the creator, listen, you know, we want to bestow, but we can't. We're just not capacitated to do that. So you need to change our nature, or you need to give us this additional thing, something that will allow us to use our nature in a manner which is bestowing. Okay? And that should be our prayer all the time. How can I cry? Well, I can only cry if I am desperate. So the study should bring me to a state where I want to get out of my egoism and I feel I can't do anything against it. And then the babies cry, and then what happens? The milk comes along, nice and warm, okay, pleasantly, and we're drinking away. And that's actually how it is, okay, because the light, okay, just like for babies as well. What happens? The baby's crying, mommy comes, picks the baby up, raises him or her, and breastfeeds her. The baby is getting light. Okay, same thing. So the creator, as we cry out, he's going to lift us up. And that's why kids feel safe when they're hugged. Why? Because it's like you raised them up to your level. So they feel secure. They're like up at another level instead of being lower. So that's how the creator will also treat us. But with that, this crying, he's not going to get up. Okay, so let's just cry out and now make him move a little bit. All right. Having said that, that's about it for tonight, I think. And we're going to love you and leave you guys and see you all next Tuesday, hopefully. All right. Have a great evening. Bye-bye, everyone.